Hello, welcome, and let's get started. Let's start with a slip knot. I am going to start with the chain 13, but you can chain however many you would like for the width of the brim when it is folded in half. So my brim will be about 1.5 inches in width or 4 centimeters. We are going to start with single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain across. So put one single crochet in each chain. Don't forget to pause often throughout the video to catch up. We can then chain one and turn. We will be working in the back of the single crochet loop. So starting in the first single crochet, back loop only, we're going to do single crochet all the way across. Be very careful not to miss the last stitch and that you have the same amount of stitches in each row. Mine will have 12 stitches. So here's that last stitch. Sometimes you have to just turn it to the back to see. And there you are. We will then chain one and turn. We are going to repeat this pattern until we have our desired length. So about 17 to 20 inches or 44 to 51 centimeters, or until it fits around your head. We can then fold the brim in half. Insert your hook into the first single crochet, then into the chain space on the other side. We will then complete the stitch with a slip stitch. So into the single crochet and into the chain space and slip stitch. Continue that all the way along. When you finish this stitch, you will see like a little bump, but this will be on the inside when we fold our brim in half. Let's fold in half lengthwise. Line up your rows. We can weave in our end later. Oh, where'd my end go here? Oh, there it is. So we are first going to start with a chain one. We're then going to put one single crochet in the end of each row. So finding the row on the one side, matching it up to the other, and doing a single crochet. Again, the end of the row, lining it up, we're going to insert our hook insert the hook on the other side, and single crochet. So you'll have one stitch at the end of each row. You will notice too when you do it, when you go in on one side, it looks like you're going under double, and on the other side, a single, and then it reverses. But just keep checking to make sure your rows are lined up. Continue all the way around. We will then slip stitch to join in the top of the first single crochet and chain 1. We can now start our bean stitch. Start in the first single crochet from the round below. Insert your hook and draw up a loop. We will then yarn over, insert back into that same stitch, draw up a loop, again yarn over, insert our hook again into that same stitch. At this point, you should have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We can then yarn over and pull through all 6. Chain 1 to close the stitch. We will then skip 1 stitch and go into the next. So again, insert our hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, insert into the same, draw up a loop, yarn over, insert, draw up a 3rd loop, yarn over, pull through all 6, chain 1, and close the stitch. Again, we're going to skip a stitch and do the bean stitch. Going through all, chain to close, skip a stitch, and into the next. Repeat this all the way around. I will do a few more for you just so you get the hang of it. Once we have reached the end, we will do a slip stitch in the top of the first bean stitch to join. Chain 1 and turn. Our first bean stitch will be put into our very first stitch that we turned. So for row 2, we're going to start that very first stitch, and in there we will do our bean stitch. Our next stitch will be put into the V space below. So we are actually skipping a stitch on the top here and working into the next, but you can see it is the V space, and we will work our bean stitch. So into the next V for our next bean stitch. So you don't really have to think about skipping a stitch as long as each one of your stitches goes into that V from the round below. You can now see how the stitches are becoming angled. Continue this all the way around. Again, when you have reached the end, slip stitch to join in the top of the first stitch, and we're going to do a chain 1 and turn. Again, we will start in that very first stitch, and we're going to repeat row 2 until you have your desired length of your beanie. So for the first stitch, we're going to go right into the first one and do our bean stitch. And then continue into the V spaces from the round below. So the second row will be repeated for the entire length of the hat. I did about 12 rows. It equals about 6 inches or 15 centimeters. At this point, we're going to start a decrease. So we're going to start again as normal, but we're going to do 3 bean stitch, and then we're going to do 2 bean stitch together. So let's just do 3 bean stitch as normal. So number 1, we'll do a second one, and a third, and now to do 2 together, we will start in the first bean stitch, yarn over, go into the second bean stitch, yarn over, go back into the second bean stitch, yarn over, and then pull through all 6. Repeat this all the way around. It's 1 bean stitch, 2, that's our third, and now 2 together. In the first, and then the other 2 into the second, pull through all 6 and close. And repeat. We are going to continue this decrease pattern for all of our remaining rows. When you come to the end of a row, if it doesn't match up exact with your 3 bean stitch and your 2 together, just do a couple bean stitch at the end just to close off the row. So for every row, we're going to continue until we have about a 2-inch or 5 centimeter opening. Once you have reached the small opening, we can cut our yarn and pull through. With your darning needle, we will weave in and out to close the hole. So just put your needle in and out and then you can pull snug. This pattern has a really nice finish with or without a pom-pom. I really like this pattern because it's quite a thick texture and it's very warm, and I like how it's formed towards the head. It's such a cute beanie. Continue to watch the video until the end on how to close and to see what it looks like when you've added your pom-pom. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and if you do, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out some of my other hat videos as well. Have a great day. Bye.